In the middle of the Sahara Desert, in one of the most remote, lifeless places on Earth, a team of scientists made a discovery that stopped them in their tracks. Buried beneath the sand dunes of Niger, they found a woman. Lying beside her, two small children. Their arms were still wrapped around each other. They had been buried like that for over 5,000 years. This wasn't an isolated grave. It was one of hundreds. And what it revealed was a civilization so completely erased from history, scientists simply started calling it the Ghost Civilization. This place is called Gobero, hidden deep in the Tenerian Desert of Niger, one of the driest, harshest regions on the planet. It was discovered almost by accident in the year 2000, when a paleontologist searching for dinosaur fossils stumbled across something far stranger. Human bones scattered across the surface of the sand, exposed by decades of shifting wind. What followed was one of the largest Stone Age burial grounds ever found in the Sahara. Over 200 graves containing skeletons, pottery, and jewelry, undisturbed for thousands of years. But here's where it gets strange. The skeletons at Gobero weren't all from the same people, or even the same era. Scientists identified two entirely different populations, buried in the same ground, separated by over 1,000 years. The older group, called the Kiffian, were tall, powerful hunters who speared massive Nile perch from the shores of a lake that no longer exists. The later group, the Tenerian, were smaller, more slender cattle herders who arrived long after the Kiffian had vanished, burying their own dead in the same sacred ground, seemingly unaware of who came before them. The Kiffian lived here around 10,000 years ago, when this desert was a lush lake shore teeming with crocodiles, hippos, and giant fish. Their skeletons show remarkable height and bone density, evidence of a physically demanding life built entirely around the water. They left behind harpoons carved from bone, capable of taking down animals twice the size of a man. And then, mysteriously, the Kiffian disappear from the archaeological record entirely, right around the time the climate began its first major shift, thousands of years before the final collapse of the Green Sahara. For centuries after the Kiffian vanished, the archaeological record goes silent. No graves, no tools, no evidence of human presence at Gobero at all. Some researchers believe the drought that followed was severe enough to empty the region completely, an early climate collapse that pushed people out long before the Sahara's final, catastrophic drying. It's a gap in the story that no one can fully explain. A civilization disappears. The land falls silent. And then, centuries later, someone else arrives. The Tenerian arrived roughly 1,000 years later, in a landscape that had partially recovered. Smaller lakes, sparse grassland, enough to sustain cattle herding. And it's here that archaeologists found the discovery that made global headlines. A woman, buried facing two children, her hand resting gently on one of them. Flowers placed beneath their bodies at the time of burial. It remains one of the most emotionally powerful funerary scenes ever recovered from the Stone Age. Clear evidence of grief, ritual, and love, expressed by people history had almost completely forgotten. Isotope analysis of the bones tells us what these people ate, how they lived, even where they may have traveled from. Genetic studies suggest deep, ancient roots stretching across the African continent, populations that don't map cleanly onto any modern group. Some researchers argue these findings challenge simplified narratives about early human migration entirely. The people of Gobero weren't a footnote. They were part of a much larger, more complex human story across Africa, one that mainstream history rarely makes room for. So why haven't you heard of this? Part of the answer is uncomfortable. Archaeological funding and public attention has overwhelmingly gone toward Egypt's pharaohs, tombs, and gold. Stories that sell books and fill museums. Sites like Gobero, despite being older and arguably more scientifically significant, receive a fraction of the research funding, media coverage, or public interest. The result is a strange hierarchy of history, where spectacle wins and quieter, more human discoveries are left buried, both literally and figuratively. Gobero matters because it proves something the mainstream story of Egypt conveniently skips over. Human civilization in this region didn't begin with pharaohs. It didn't even begin at the Nile. It began out here, in a desert that used to be a paradise, among people who hunted giant fish, buried their families with flowers, and vanished so completely that we only found them by accident. Egypt didn't emerge from nothing. It emerged from thousands of years of human lives that came before it. But Gobero isn't the strangest thing hidden in this desert. Not far from here, another group left behind something even harder to explain. Not a grave, but a machine. A circle of massive stones, deliberately aligned to track the movement of stars, built by people with no cities, no writing, and supposedly no advanced knowledge at all. Scientists still can't fully explain how they built it, or why. That's next.